allegedly being the...
Should I mute?
No, you just stay as you are. Let's see if it starts fucking going. There we go. Hey, we seem to be live. Hello and welcome to Raconteurs News. It's after dark. Raconteurs after dark, I have to say. And we've just had a bit of a fucking nightmare with this pile of shit that we use it. I won't say that. It might cut us off. It would never have happened under the Nazis, according to Heath. Yeah, we'd have been certainly been in trouble. Anyway, I just thought we'd do tonight simply because next week I am going to be on Monday. I'm going into hospital and I'll be having an operation on Tuesday. So I wanted to get an after dark in, and I ended up talking to Webby yesterday somehow and just said, let's why don't you come on? So first of all, before I introduce our Webster, we'll introduce our Ade. Good evening, Ade. How are you doing, me old mate?
I've just had a really surreal, just a mental gathering somehow. While you were doing all the technical bits, I could see Webby, and I kept saying, Webby, can you hear me? Webby, and he couldn't see or hear me. So I'm in this position where I felt like some kind of perv looking in on Webby for about 2 minutes before it even said, "Hey, Webby, how you doing?"
I've always said there's something weird about thee.
It's Jason's technical issues. That's what it is.
Yeah, as I said, we've. I ended up talking to Webby yesterday, and I said to him, "Do you want to come on and have a chit chat about what's been going on and what you've been doing, and what your plans are for the future and stuff?" So, the Webster, good evening. How are you, mate? Long time no dig.
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Like I was saying yesterday, the Google Hangouts, it really messed me up a bit, because it was too easy to just click Google Hangouts and go, and then it meant I had to go and look and find something new. And then I'd seen you were using this StreamYard, and I got hold of it, and then it's just easy to have a bit of time out. And then I've got in touch with a couple of local people that I was telling you about yesterday, who we can have a bit of a chat. I won't go into too much because I'm going to actually have this guy on the show, but things that have been happening all around the country and in different countries are now starting to just impact in my local town. So there's a few things that worth talking about.
Yeah,
go on. Sorry,
it's all right. Go on, you carry on.
No, I was just going to say it's other than that, mate, everything's great this end. Work is work, but other than that, mate, I can't complain.
Good man. And are you doing in the old? I know that we've all had this little problems where we've at times we've had something probably gets to us and a little bit more than it perhaps should do, and sometimes have you been doing with that on keeping your mental stability, your mental training, and keeping that in order?
Yeah, July, August were a couple of tough months. Things came up things that I felt that I'd dealt with a long time ago, but I obviously hadn't, and they came up and decided to knock on my door. But they've been dealt with, and they've been dealt with properly this time. And as I said to you yesterday, that's well and truly locked away now. And it's nice to be able to say that and know it myself, rather than I can tell you anything, Jason, and you just take it's my word. But there's only me at the end of the day. When I put my head on the pillow at night, I know what my truth is, and my truth is that what we were talking about is well and truly locked away now.
Awesome. It's great to see you back anyway, Webby, and in such good spirits. I've got to say I was a bit not surprised, but it was weird because I had this premonition. I had this premonition, honestly, and I saw your thing that your symbol that you have on your on everything. It's like you're that bloke holding his hand up.
The ninja.
Yeah, that's it. But that I had suddenly, for some reason, that come into my mind. Then my phone pinged and it was you. And it was just like the weirdest thing. So yeah, it's great to see you back and on top form. We've seen you in chat room a few times. What you got going lined up for future? Anything? Have you got anything concrete lined up? You know, you're going to try and because we did go through it, and now I think you're able to do one of these shows, aren't you?
Yeah.
This. So are you going to be doing some of them?
Yeah, I've got a couple of guests lined up. I've actually contacted William Rodriguez. I'm friends with him on Facebook now, but I've not got anything back from him yet. I'm looking to try and get him on.
You won't get him on. You won't get him on, mate. Honestly, I know him. I know him.
Yeah.
You won't get him on, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't even want him on.
Well, you know, I've not spoken to people like that, so I've put a few feelers out. Got some contact details for David Icke. Whether he'll have any time to spur for a little tin pot podcast like mine, I don't know. But yeah, but it's the lad who's local to me. He's got a hell of a story. What's happened to him, and it's not so much. From my point of view, it wasn't so much what's happening to him and what was happening to him locally, because the guy's more than capable of being able to take care of himself that way. But it's when the authorities are starting to get involved and those authorities turn on him rather than the situation that's going on. And I'm more than happy to get into a bit of that as we go on. But you know, I'm more interested to hear about what's going to be happening with you coming D-Day next week. So, you know, fill us in on that, Paul.
Well, it's like I was saying to you before, I'm going in to have an operation now. There's 3 outcomes and I'm not going to know which one it is until I come round. So it's either the able to revasculate my leg and my foot and everything and give me a chance at that, or they revasculate enough of my leg in order for me to have a below knee amputation, or it's an above knee amputation. So I'm going to wake up with one of those 3. So that's what's going to happen next week. It's happening on it's happening on Monday. I'm going in on Monday. The operation's Tuesday. Now I tried to, as you said, I was going to show you my leg today, a picture of my leg today, but I was going to do it on share screen, but we've completely fucked up on that one. So
don't press that button, for God's sake. We'll be sat here for 10 minutes looking at
you cut us all off last time.
Oh, here we go. There we go. So this is, let me turn it off like that. This is my, it's a bit hard, isn't it?
Okay.
That's me. Like, can you see much of it? I don't think. Yeah, you go.
Oh.
See? So that's my leg today. When they come to dress it.
And that's not a tattoo.
That's not no. It's not a tattoo. That black stuff down there is no stuff. It's basically a big scab that's going to form. But I don't think it'll have time to form because it's been anyway. It's been so. Next week is D-Day, so will not be anything from us. Well, not from me anyway, between ending next week and perhaps a few days after that, but I'll certainly keep everyone up to date on that. So just keep your fingers crossed for us. I'm not looking forward to having double stumps, although I can then do Donald and Melina stump rather than just Donald. So yeah, that's next week. So I just wanted to do this show tonight. Hey, how are you anyway, mate? We haven't had a word from you yet, pal.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. What? If you'd rather talk about anything else, that's fine. Monday can't be an easy day for you, mate. What are you hoping for? What's your all right. What do you think's going to happen?
I think they're going to. I think they're going to have my leg off.
Okay.
That's what I think, because the guy that I was talking to, he was saying that he had little chance of working, and he's going to be going first. So I'm having an angioplasty, and they fucking told me I'm stopping in for 10 days now. I'm having an angioplasty. If it don't work, then it's going to be coming off. So,
mind you, I mean, like I know I've said to you before, the good thing about hospitals nowadays, at least they always tell you the worst possible outcome. They don't try and, disguise.
I've had a long time to get used to it this time. Last time, you didn't have that much, that long to get used to it. I mean, it went from nothing to your leg's going to be amputated, and we had a week to decide whether we were going to do that. Yeah. So this time we've had much longer to be able to come to terms with it. And fucking hell, I just can't work out what the fuck I've done wrong, but I must have done something.
Right. One thing I wanted to, Webby, when you said Google Hangouts, and when all that stopped, it kind of kicked you up the arse and made you look for something else.
Yeah.
I heard something quite interesting the other day. Two of the richest companies in the world, Facebook and Google, the only thing they've got to sell is our information.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the only thing they sell.
Well, I don't know if you've seen. Have you seen, Jason, that YouTube changing the rules and regs again on the 10th of December?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Talking about monetization, they're basically saying that if your channel's not viable monetarily, they could scrap it. They could take you off. So there's going to be some interesting stuff coming out in the next few weeks, because I don't know about you, lads. I mean, Ade always says every week, I don't know what's going on. I don't stay away from the media. You say the same, but this world's going bloody bonkers, man.
Oh.
I mean, I've written just a couple of things down here that's like happened in the last week or so. Did you see? You might have even talked about it. The 7-year-old boy that was, the 7-year-old that was in the custody battle in Texas. The mother wanted to
try to stop him, his mother from turning him trans or something.
The mother wanted him to be a girl, and she wanted full custody to do that. And a jury found in her favour. And the judges stepped in and said, hang on a minute, it's getting a bit silly this. So they've given joint custody. And then the fathers took the lad and enrolled him at school. And the lad said, I'd like to go as a boy, Dad, and has gone to school as a boy. His choice. Why are we even having this debate? Why are we supporting mental health issues from parents? Because there's definitely a mental health issue going on there. I mean, this Munchausen by proxy it seems to be the right call for me. I don't know what you two think.
Well, I think if you've got what is that I heard the other day? I mean, this isn't one of mine. This is one I've heard. If you got somebody who wanted to chop off a perfectly healthy arm, they would call that a mental disease, and they got a really mentally ill patient because for no reason he wants to chop his arm off. But if the same guy goes to the doctor and says, I want to chop my cock off, that's gender reassignment.
Full support for that, isn't it?
And you think, well, hang on a minute. Well, what's the... And I said, that's not mine. That was somebody else's comment that I'm regurgitating. I'm just putting out there. But it's... And when they've got doctors being struck off because they won't say there's only two sexes, male and female.
They're actually starting to teach children from nursery now that they are not born as boy or girl. This is just dangerous. You're just retarding children. You're giving them things that... I mean, the 6-7-year-old girl went home crying to her parents because the school had told her that she wasn't a girl. She doesn't have to be a girl. And the girl went home that confused. She doesn't know what she is. It's a dangerous game that we are allowing to be played, and this agenda that's being pushed and pushed and pushed, and this drag queen story hour. I don't know. I even get lost for words for some of this stuff now. Because
what was it they had on the BBC yesterday? the brave 12-year-old transgender boy or drag kid who's sticking up for his rights, and I'm thinking, I've not just kind of just press the pause button and just listen to the past 10 seconds of what you just said there. You know, and they're just I'm gobsmacked to hear it, you know.
Well, the Desmond is amazing one. The one that had gone up and down a stage in a gay club in New York where grown men were putting dollar bills in his pants. His parents were reported to social services. They found nothing to answer for, and then he appears on Good Morning America, which is like being with Piers and Susanna over here, and they're congratulating him on having this YouTube channel and how he's saying that he's helped liberate 8-year-old boys to, you know, emerge as this flamboyant girl. And I'm going, what is going on? There's something sick in society for me. It's if you can do what you want, Ade. We've had this conversation so many times. I don't care what you do with yourselves and whatever you want to do, but this is not individuals doing something for themselves. This is being promoted. It's being pushed in every corner from celebrities. And there's money that doesn't exist being pumped into all this.
Yep.
Where do we draw the line? Where do people? Because I know really, the statement that for evil to persist, it only takes good people to do nothing. And I know so many good people who are just saying, well, just let them be who they are. That's not what this is. It's not what this is.
It's all part of the agenda.
I saw this week that Amazon have had to take a product offline. Have any of you heard about what this product is?
No.
It's aimed at 5-year-old girls, and it's a T-shirt that says "Daddy's little slut." Daddy's little slut.
Fucking makes you wonder, doesn't it?
That you know, you're looking at this stuff. I mean, 20 years ago, that Amazon wouldn't have even got away with something like that. So it shows how far have we come in 20 years. It's sickening if we've come this far in 20 years and how much it's speeding up now.
Yeah, and how things do generally tend to speed up, don't they, and get increasing as they go along. And yeah,
it
completely
becomes normalized, isn't it?
It is ridiculous. I mean, I said to Danielle earlier on, you know, I've got. I would imagine now we're like some evil kidnapper, and I went up to this little puppy dog and I said, hello there, little dog. Would you like to come and see some small children? Yeah, you know, it's just this fucking other way around mental shit that's fucking going on. It's whacks your head, and you think to yourself, what the fucking hell is going on here? You just do not know. And then you'll get people trying to justify it through saying, well, you know, I watched. I'm not a big advocate of Piers Morgan, but I watched him win an argument with a trans woman, which all she could do was throw these sound bites at him, you know, about, you know, fucking diversity and all this fucking nonsense and this bollocks, and he would actually giving a good points, and she would just into a big mash of nonsense, and I don't know if it's confusion all around. I think is that what they want for us to be confused? Come on, what are you?
I know I've got a really simplistic view of it, which is 13 families own kind of everything at the very top, and then the rest just filters down from there. But you're right, you know, how far have we come in 20 years? But when you think that if that's what they've achieved in 20 years, but also how many more people actually realise what's going on than didn't know.
Yeah, but those people that realise what's going on are going to be further and further marginalised, and then will become some subculture of people, some sub part of society. These people that don't believe the rhetoric and the nonsense. It's the more that we get through, the less we're allowed to get through.
And of course, the other thing, when I said Google and Facebook, well, of course, that's the internet. And the internet did a lot of good things. It let a lot of people find out very, very quickly what was going on, because it's an easy place to research.
Well, it's an age of information.
It is.
You can find anything you want.
But while all that was going on, of course, then the Facebook was out there getting people to dump their own information down this big funnel for them to store, and the two things were happening together. So now the Facebook thing's got that big that people literally cannot live without it. Literally cannot live without it. They now squeeze the other end. So their funnel broadens so they can get more shit in about people, more information. But at the other end, when they're stopping people being out on YouTube, etc., and they are demonetizing channels and closing people's channels, and I mean, I've had to subscribe to Webby twice, and I never unsubscribed to him, and same with a couple of others, including David Icke's channel. So I know it goes on. We get unsubscribed without actually doing anything. But we know that happens. So now all they're doing is broadening the funnel, because nobody can live without Facebook anymore. Everybody keep throwing your information in. But out the other end, where the people are wanting to spread the news and learn, with something like YouTube, that's all being chopped away. And it's just more and more and more centralized control. And of course, the big one that we've all got to believe in is the climate change thing, so that we can all give away all the rest of our little bit of power that they think they've got, in support of climate change, or whatever it is they're calling it this week.
Well, what have you read of that, Webby? Like the climate change and this little lass thing?
For me, everything that I mean, again, she comes from nowhere. She skips school and sits outside somewhere with a sign, and then all of a sudden she's travelling the world on a multi-million-pound budget, promoted here, promoted there, and she gets to stand at the UN and put her views across. Call me a skeptic, but that looks like somebody who's promoting an agenda. And she doesn't come across as independent thinking. Let's put it that way. If she's not got a script to read, which she can do seemingly quite well when she's got it, and I've seen her where she's been asked questions off the cuff and she doesn't want to answer, and she'll have a drink and she'll move it on to somebody else because she'll come out with the thing, oh, well, it's not all about me type thing. But the climate change, I posted an article, I posted it a couple of times. Over the last 120 years, we've had climate change happening all the time. All these agendas have been promoted through different mediums for 120 years. People just lap it up. It's like the general election now. Somebody said to me this week that anybody who doesn't vote, not only do they not give a fuck about them, but they shouldn't moan about it when all the voters take over everything. And I can't get my head around anybody who thinks that voting for a lesser evil when it's still evil, and they still agree on the main agenda, but they may put the brakes on something or slow something down. And I also do get, I've got a mate of mine who talks about it being like an oil tanker. We'll vote for, get Labour back in because we can start turning. We're never going to just turn it round, but we can. It's like an oil tanker, Webber. We've got to start turning it slow. I'd rather challenge the system in other ways. I'm in the court system. I'm challenging it in their grounds, on their turf, with the legislation, because that's where a lot of our remedies are. We've got remedies in every single act. We've just got to be able to articulate the argument correctly, and stand in the correct jurisdiction, not go in with any other stuff. It gets to be quite simple, and you know it's quite simple when you can't get that date. We're waiting for a High Court date. We've been down to the Royal Courts. They don't want to touch it. They've sent it back up to Manchester, and that's where we're at now with council tax. We've just got to keep going in, keep putting stuff in, and you know, I've got my second set of documents over up into Doncaster at the Valuations Tribunal. It's just ticking boxes from the very, very bare bones of it, because we've had to go back to the bare bones because there's been that many people gone off half-cocked doing all different kinds of things, not just council tax. But when people go off half-cocked and they fail, they get another peg up because they can rule that out, and the courts get to cut that argument off earlier and earlier. So it's about all those people who've made all those mistakes, us included, learning from them, and then it's those stepping stones. And you can see it as soon as they don't want to talk to you. You know, it gets that simple. When they don't want to talk to you, you know you're doing the right things. But we need everybody doing what they're doing. I've said many times when I was on Raconteurs about people who go down to the fracking sites and lock on and climb up on stuff. I can't do that. So these people are the ones who battle there. We've all got battles. We all battle on each other, you know, on our own fronts, and we're all looking for the same thing. But I can't buy into a system that's lied to me and think that, and put a bit of faith in the people that believe in that system. That system's got to come down, whether they bring it down, whether we bring it down, or it collapses naturally. It's coming down whichever way it goes. You may get your anarchy, Ade.
Listen, I've got a question for you, but first of all, I just want to say I acknowledge some of the people in the chat room. Don telling Pike, who says it feels like Christmas has come early. There we go. Let's see if that goes up. There you go. It feels like Christmas has come early, new being. Jason, Webby and Ade back together. Well, we're glad that you're enjoying it. Thanks very much for that. Dave Iron as well. Hello, Uni Black Sister. Alice Cat George from down there in Sheffield. Hi, hello to you. Jesus Jones, Gonad Nomad, Super Leeds, New Being, Ron Malcolm, and all the rest of you in the chat room. We've got a very lively chat room tonight, and thank you for coming along for this this evening. We thought we'd have Webby on for a chat. We had me and Webby had a bit of a chat yesterday. And we thought that it'd be a good idea to get him on the show because we've not spoke to him for ages. But I've got a question for you. I don't know if you're going to be in a position to be able to answer this or not, but I don't know but you might have kept up on it. What's the Great British Mortgage Swindle?
Yeah.
What's actually going on with that at the moment? Is there anything in concrete in cases that have coming true? Because I know there were lots of, at one point there were lots of posts about it, but I don't know whether it's something to do with the algorithms or I've just missed them. Whether anything's been going on. What's latest on that? Do you know?
From where I was up to last time I saw it, Michael posted. I can't remember the bank. Lloyd's, I think it's Lloyd's. I think it was Lloyd's. They've been told by the court to stop pursuing the repossessions. So they've got something. They've certainly got something there, Jason. Looking at it, if all comes to all, whatever Michael is talking about is correct. It should undo what they're doing. In regards to the mortgage frauds, it should undo it like that. But it's if they can manipulate it and drag it out into the long grass as long as they possibly can, they're certainly all over it. These guys have done so much work into it. I'm still waiting for Michael Bernacius to come on. He kept saying, I'm coming on, and then he was over in Ireland. Anthony Carlin was telling me a lot about it. There's an email that you can send, your details to this email address and you can become part of this lawsuit that's going on. So I think going back from in the last 10 years, yeah. I mean, I've still not seen it. I've still not even seen the film yet because I've been waiting. Then it was off, then it was on, then it was off, and then it was on the cinemas near me. Jonesy was going to get it up on from Beat the Bailiffs. He had it all set up, and then that never came about. So it's good to hear it that they're actually doing something in the courts, they're moving something in the courts, and that's all that we can do, because at the end of the day, this system is so big and so controlled and so nailed down, and the people themselves, I found, Jason Ade, that I found that the people will attack me for pointing out the flaws and the fraud within this system, because they actually have to address where they fit into that system. And if the system is frauding them, they've got to try and make that okay within themselves to carry on doing what they're doing.
To admit that you've been fooled is very, very difficult.
It's easier to fool them, and you know, that's why I'm called all the names under the sun, because
I just sort of look at the world, and it's a cross between Demolition Man, that film I'm always on about, but also what's the other one where everything's backwards? Oh, I can't remember. I will come up with it later. It's just once you kind of get it, everything's the wrong way around, and you look at things in a completely opposite way. And you know, and you look at people who get kicked and kicked and kicked and kicked, and they still don't see that it's all different parts of the same system that keeps kicking them. I mean, I've had customers in the past who have talked about being evicted because some rent rebates office hadn't done their bit yet.
Yeah.
So in other words, one part of the system wanted to make a victim of somebody because another part of the system didn't got their arse into gear.
And it's because that other part of the system said, well, this is too easy.
Yeah.
This is too easy. It's written down here. Look, we can do this. It's the same as a judge.
When you point out to somebody that all these things are all the same system, that they can't even compute it. Yeah.
No.
What do you mean it's the same system? It's the same system. You know, it's two parts of the same thing can't talk to each other, and it's your fault. And they sort of go, and it's because of the brainwashing. They're having real trouble even coming to terms with something like as simple as that.
But we're not meant to know it, Ade. We're not meant to be able to see through what all those lies. We're not meant to be able to see those lies. We're just meant to perceive what we're taught, and then by that we're distracted with football, we're distracted with music, films, Love Island, EastEnders, all this stuff to keep us in that retardation. But now what they're doing to the children, it's not a case of what like Hitler was saying, come on, let me get hold of these young boys and turn them into young men and be strong and be this, that, and the other. That's not what's happening to our children. I mean, the amount of boys that are confused with themselves, it makes me wonder where the actual men are going to come from, because we're looking at a generation of androgynous people. You know, I mean, you're trying to state now that the education system is going to teach children that you're not born as a boy or a girl, and we're not meant to influence that. They're going to be called, I think the term was babies, not babies. They're going to be babies. So it's not a he or a she. It's not a male or a female.
It's not a baby.
But we've got to ignore biological fact. You know, I've got enough theory that I've been taught as fact to ignore fact. Now, that's what you were saying, Ade. How has that turned upside down? Biological fact is now theory, and theory is fact. and they've been telling me about a solar system that I was spinning round this big fiery ball. No, that's changed. What do you mean it's changed? Yeah, we're chasing that now. Okay. And now the moon is not 238,000 miles away. It's in Earth's atmosphere. I don't know how NASA can manage to do all these lies and spread them everywhere without anybody going, what? Can you say that again? This is, I mean, I've said this to you guys before, but it hit me in 2015 that all the lies that I've had to swallow, I had to find something that had the truth. I mean, obviously, biologically, male and female, I've found that truth. But there's got to be something I've been taught that they must have told me the truth on. And we'd go back to that flat Earth. And I spoke to a physicist and I said to him, I said, can I ask you a childlike question? And he said, yeah, of course. I said, flat Earth, global Earth. He says, go on. I said, the atmosphere of Earth, vacuum of space, no barrier, go. And he said to me, he says, well, our best guess is that from the Earth, where all the air molecules are very dense and heavy, they get higher and higher and higher, and they get less and less and less, and they dissipate into a nothingness. I said, so it dissipates into the vacuum of space? He says, yes. I said, does that not impact on the theory of relativity then, where an aeroplane on the runway is moving at 1,000 miles an hour relative to the Earth, taking off at now traveling at 500, which is 1,500 miles an hour relative to the Earth. But you're telling me that the density level is so less now that it's going into a vacuum of space, higher and higher. Does that not start to create a drag factor on an aeroplane that's only moving at 500 if the Earth is spinning? Does it not start to drag? Do you not start to never get near your destination? And he said, it's our best guess. So that is taught to me as fact. When I ask a question about that theory, I am called names. That makes me even more suspicious.
But when I was in Thailand,
you've been to Thailand? When did this happen?
During the war.
When I was in Thailand.
No, I spoke about these two guys, both Australian, and one says he's a bus driver, and in fact he owns the coach company. He does drive the buses, and the other one says he's a bus driver, but it's an A380 Aero bus that he drives. Right? Anyway, Lee is the guy who works for, I think he's gone to Saudi Airlines, which apparently is a subsidiary of Qantas. And I said to him, A380, so you're right on. He says, oh yeah, we're about as high as it gets. You know, said Concorde used to fly higher than we do, but yeah, if you're on a 380, there's a pretty good chance you'll be, you know, one of the higher ones. Oh, okay. And he said, what's up? And he's all for sharing pictures of pilots who have driven into hangars and, you know, wings are hanging off, and he's dead eager to show you all that stuff, and he's dead eager. I went, I got a question. He says, what? I said, is it flat or is it he went, don't know. He says, because how do I know that window that I'm looking through, and you know, it's bent like a car windscreen, some of them, and you know, others are flat, and it depends what you're flying, but I don't know.
It's everything that they're changing, Ade. I mean, Pluto's a planet. No, it's not. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, it might be. What we're being told one thing, it's changing. It's being told again, it's changing, and then we're getting a load of crap in between, and it's the crap in between now. People are getting degrees in, so you're actually going studying crap to get a degree in it, which is going to be absolutely useless in the long run. I mean, we have nations. You can go to college and get a degree in stacking shelves. All right, it might be about stock and stuff like that as well, but if there's no products on those shelves, you're useless. You're useless. So what are you going to do afterwards? What are you going to do if they collapse the economy? I'm hearing from good sources that they're looking at collapsing currencies early next year. Now, we've been there on the verge of that quite a few times, particularly in the last 10 to 15 years, and they've always stopped it. But we've just mentioned, Jason, things are getting quicker and quicker and quicker. They're going to come to a point where everybody's going to go, no, that'll never happen. And then, boom, we've got people jumping out of high-rises because they've lost everything again. And then what do we do then? Oh, there's no money. Well, we didn't have any money before you collapsed everything. So if we just go back to work, doing work for nothing, but guess what? I'm having my gas, water, and electric free. There'd be no problems. We just keep going. Somebody said to me only a couple of weeks back, well, if we all stop paying for gas, Webby, what would happen? I said, well, what would happen is that you would have a nice warm home, not be worrying about any heating costs or anything like that. And all the commercial enterprises would pay for the service and maintenance of your grid and the refining of the gas and blah, blah, blah. And then to put the cherry on top of the cake, the CEO of British Gas wouldn't have got a 44% pay rise, which he gave himself 2 weeks ago. That's all that would change. And they look at you as if they're waiting for you to say, well, everything would collapse because nobody'd be paying for anything. What are you paying for? You're not paying for anything. And it's that monopoly mind construct that they've given you. You've landed on Pall Mall. You owe me some money. Oh, you've no pieces of paper left. I'm going to take over Pall Mall. Well, let's just take the IMF and Greece from that monopoly scenario. Here, Greece, do you want some billions? Yes, please. There you go. Right, we won't pay him back. Oh, you can't pay us. I'll tell you what, we'll take over your heritage sites and your tourism as our going concerns. Cheers, Greece.
Yeah, we've just given it away for nothing, for absolutely nothing, for bits of credits, numbers on a screen. It's
exactly.
Completely agree.
Do you remember Alex Thompson when we had Alex on? And I said to him, I says, you lot are taught, Eton, you lot are taught the bills of exchange by 13. And he said, how else will we steal all your equity and leave you with all the debt notes? You know, you can't say it plainer to people because no, you can't say it plainer, but they can't grasp that concept. And the ones that do grasp it, it blows their minds. And I've been there because you go through a grieving process. I mean, you hit the nail on the head earlier, Jason, where we've all had our tribulations and we've all had to get through those tribulations. You go through grieving processes in everything. You, with your situation, Jason, you had to go through a grieving process. You're doing it all the time. But if you're still here, it starts to make you stronger. You're the same, Ed, with your motorbike, your injuries and everything. You get put in a position where I was, where if somebody had said you can go, Paul, I'd have closed my eyes and thanked them and I'd have gone. I was beaten.
Yep.
But when you go through that grieving process where 8 years ago I wanted to grab all the people by their ears and tell them that the gas was free and headbutt them while I was telling them. It doesn't matter. The people who have ears will hear.
Yes, the people that do have ears will certainly hear. Once again, I'm just going to acknowledge the chat room. Richard Alexander Blake is in there. Alice Georgeson. Carl Dinney is in there as well. Good evening to you, Dinney. Apple Charlotte, who we had on last week. I don't know if you caught it, but if you didn't, just have a look back on last week's show. We got Apple Charlotte on. You didn't do it, did you? Just me and Leeds, and I think we had Uni on as well. Uni came on, and so we just had we had a bit of fun. With,
I think I was extremely drunk that night, wasn't I?
I think you might have been slightly inebriated, Ed.
I have to confess, I was completely arseholed.
That does sound like you, man.
Did I actually come on?
No.
No, he didn't know. Definitely not.
Oh no, we might have had another Israeli incident.
God, fucking hell. That stuff you give me, that green paint, don't half get on your chest, man.
Yeah, I know, it's good, isn't it?
So, just before we go any further with and anybody who's got any questions for where we just pop in the chat room, a lot of people have been saying it's nice to see you back, and I'm going to say it's nice to hear and have you on the show again. Mahatma Malevolence, I really don't know if this is a question that he wants to put, but
I've already seen it.
Yeah, shall we do that? Yeah.
Well, let me ask Mahatma.
Hang on, you got to read the question out because I can't see that.
I'm showing it. It's coming up on screen in a sec. It should be.
No, that says A for V, mate.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Anyway, he said something.
Value, it didn't work.
His question was, how precisely do I get our gas free? Well, my question to you, Mahatma, is how the hell do you think you're going to pay for it? As a creditor in a debt-based economy, you have obligations to the national debt. The national debt is given to you when you're registered at birth and you get to an age. Now, you can choose to act as a creditor or as a debtor. We are taught to act as debtor. So the gas on its own, let's take the gas as the national debt. I have an obligation to the national debt of gas. So I get a gas bill. If I pay it, that's a promise to do something with that debt that I'm obligated to. But I do nothing with it. So interest gets added to that debt because I've done nothing with it. National debt goes up. Government step in with austerity because I'm acting like a child and take shit off me. So I got a paper bill. Attached to that paper bill is a negotiable instrument, a bank giro. Under the bills of exchange, it requires me to sign that as creditor. Upon return to my agent should now set off my debt, zeroing my gas bill, lowering national debt, no austerity. That is how you settle your account. That's your remedy. I've been sat in courts. I've told the story many times. It's on my video where the magistrates asked me, have I got a bank statement saying here's the money going out to British Gas? And I said, no, I've remedied it under the Bills of Exchange Act. And she put a glass on the end of a note and said, Bills of Exchange. Before I could say anything, the legal clerk, who will use words very carefully, they pick the words specifically, and he turned around to the magistrate and said, yes, ma'am, that is a legal remedy we do not deal with in this jurisdiction. The term remedy is cure. That means I presented a cure, but they weren't going to deal with it. So that is how you get your gas free in a debt-based economy, because I'd love to see what you're going to pay for it with. If you think those pieces of paper are worth something without the labour, meaning if the economy collapses and there's no jobs and nobody's working, your pieces of paper are worthless.
They are, yeah. And it's going to be survival of the toughest, fittest, toughest.
Well, we're all right then.
Yeah, we're all right. We just get to sit back in his wheelchairs and that.
Yeah,
yeah. It is. It does seem. It does seem. What do you make of the old fucking shenanigans that we seem to have gotten into? I mean, politics has simply become a fucking circus. It's just entertainment for these fucking gormless bastards that sit and watch the television and think that I mean, we've had it tonight on it on calendar. Boris Johnson's been to Doncaster to where there's been some flooding. So Boris Johnson's been today, and calendar came on, which is if you don't know what calendar is, it's our regional news program that's on before the 6 o'clock news on ITV, or after, whatever, before 6. Anyway, we're on today, and they've gone to this place at Doncaster. You'll know it's Stainforth.
Yeah.
You know, and Fish Lake as well. That's near it, isn't it? Yeah,
Fish Lake, I'm sure Fish Lake is the longest village in the country. It's about 8.5 miles long, but there's probably only 30 houses on it. Maybe not even.
Right. But anyway, it's fish like this. There's fish lake in Stainforth,
Yeah.
That are flooded. So Boris Johnson's gone. Anyway, everyone's asking him. He's going up to someone. Is everything being? Is there anything I can help you with? She says, I don't want to talk to you. You know, I don't want to talk to you, and just fucking walk past them. We're all doing it. They're all going, no thanks, no thanks. You do it. So he's been up there today, but he's. You know, what the fuck can he do? What can he do? That's the thing. It's the rain. It's the fucking.
Yeah.
There's no he can do. He's, you know, there could have been a better response, but that's not his responsibility. That's the local responsibility, surely. But I'm not defending Boris Johnson. I think he's a tosser. I think he's probably the best clown that there is, and the one that can. But look at his hairs all over the fucking place.
To be fair, mate, I would actually pay to watch Parliament and all these people as a comedy, and I would pay to watch it if it wasn't the true term of a comedy is a tragedy. And the tragedy of it is that people are dying because of that buffoon. People are dying because of other idiots, other good idiots. I go back to the Tim Fortescue interview. I think it was in the 90s. I think was he chief whip, Tory whip in the early 70s. And he was interviewed by the BBC in the 90s. And he said he was talking about how Westminster worked, how the civil service worked and politics. And he said an MP or a minister would come to us with a problem. Perhaps it was debt or a scandal involving young boys. And we would make it go away. And then when we wanted to call in the Fed, when they were in a position where they could help us, we would go, hey, do you remember when? And then he went, and I know I know how that sounds. Yeah, that sounds like you're blackmailing them to do as you're doing. Now, that's nothing new. It's how it's always worked. So if something has always worked that way, and you're going to vote for something that's going to change, I don't know what to say to you. I really don't. And the alternative of following that same thing, what you've always done, people can't see any other alternatives. They're not willing to try anything. Well, guess what? If you keep doing the same thing that you've always done and expect a different outcome, you're insane.
Yeah, but again, we go back to the right. If we go right backwards to the beginning of this conversation, yeah, that's that sort of thing. Yeah, you go back to it's all. Do you know? I fucking forgot where I was going. Listen, what I was going to say is it's a minute to 9 till the hour, and normally we put a record on, but we're not going to do that now. What we're just going to do is we're going to have 5 minutes talking about football. Okay, so anyone who's not interested can go and have go and get yourself a cup of tea or what have you. But we'll just talk about. There you go, Ade's gone. He's not bothered. So you're top of the league, man. You're top of the league. Top of the Premier League.
Yeah, we certainly are.
What's it feel like?
Well, we were at this stage last season. We were 10 points clear at this stage last season, so I ain't gonna get out my pram about it. I mean, I feel very free about football these days, whereas 10 years ago it would be killing me. Because if we lost, it'd kill me. If we like, I was at work for 75 minutes of the game on Sunday, and I was listening to the radio as I was walking past things, and we were battering them. By the time I got home and watched it, they were battering us. So I got all the crap. And then I'll tell you what the thing is with me, Jason. I can cope with being at the top of the league, but like I said, it's nothing to get out your pram about. What has to happen is VAR has got to be shoved right up the arse of who wanted to put this VAR in. Because I can take every day of the week a linesman making a mistake and chalking a goal off. But to watch a perfectly good goal over half a dozen times from various angles, showing it's clearly onside when the ball is played, to be told that his armpit is offside, 10 years ago, I would have wanted to stab somebody in the face for that. It's just ridiculous. And then the very next day, Tottenham versus Everton. Dele Alli handballs in the penalty area, changing direction of the ball. Had he not put his arm up and it hit him, the ball would have dropped to Richarlison in the penalty area for a chance. That's a penalty by every definition of the game that I've ever played. Yet Martin Atkinson looked at that a dozen times and said, no penalty. No, I know Steven Gerrard in his autobiography said that Martin Atkinson was the most hated referee in the Premier League. And he was taken off the City game because of what had happened. But that, for me, the VAR has to go, because when Fabinho hit a screamer against City, nobody celebrated it. Andy Robertson walked to the pitch side, got a drink. Jurgen Klopp said, yeah, I didn't celebrate it because I wanted to make sure VAR... The passion out the game's just gone there. I don't want to celebrate a decision. I want to celebrate a screamer.
Yeah. Yeah. I fucking hate it, mate. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Because, I'm pretty much confined to house, and I watch football whenever I can. And Saturday night, the good thing is I like to sit and watch match at day, have a beer and perhaps some what they call them, them fucking pig things, pork scratchings, bag of pork scratchings, a couple of beers, watching match at day. But for me,
you're from Sheffield. You're from Sheffield, mate. You start mentioning pig things, I don't know what you're going with. Yeah, so it's destroying it. The people can't celebrate a goal. They don't celebrate a goal in the same way. That moment of elation, it's been took away. Because you don't know whether someone's going to fucking VAR it and say. Exactly. I mean, we had a goal chalked up against United, and the United fans cheered like they'd scored. That's changed the dynamics of the game. For me, it's not a game anymore. I mean, for me, 22 footballers with a referee in the middle and 2 linesmen are meant to have good games or bad games. For me, that's part of the game. A referee is part of the game. I mean, I would not take the experience of me playing in my local league where one of the referees, who's no longer with us anymore, sadly, but he hardly went out the centre circle while smoking a fag. That was his refereeing. And he was calling for offsides then, because we didn't have linesmen in some games, so he's calling offsides from the centre circle. And, he eventually, he was going through a tough time, this referee. He eventually got sectioned because he was in his full referee's outfit in quick save, giving yellow cards in the frozen food section. So, but I wouldn't change that. VAR would have stopped all that. We'd have just had somebody telling us that, that doesn't count. It takes the passion away. It takes the ambiguity, the grey areas. It's not meant to be cut and dry football. If it was meant to be clinical, then we might as well just completely forget about all physical contact and let's just look at technicalities. It's not football for me anymore.
No, it ain't for me either. It's terrible. I mean, I think that, like you say, it takes that's the game, innit? And it's the essence of the game is, and mistakes by referees and goals that should have been that weren't, like, they are part and parcel of you put your energy into watching that game, and then it's like the passion that you get back, or the thrill that you get back of watching a goal being scored, is taken away from you. So you're putting something in, but it's gone. So now it'll be, right, okay, because after 5 minutes say, yeah, it's a goal, it's 1-0, and then people just stroll back to the fucking centre circle and just kick off. There's none of the real proper fucking celebration, and it's like passion's just been completely took out of it. I fucking hate it, mate. Whoever fucking come up with that idea needs a fucking cheese grater on the bell end.
I'll tell you the closest feeling I had to it, which was well before VAR, was when United were playing West Ham at Upton Park and Blackburn Rovers were at Anfield. If United won and Blackburn lost, they'd win the league. And Jamie Redknapp it's a free kick and put us 2-1 up against Blackburn Rovers. And I'm in the Cop end, and I wasn't on my own with this. And we all went, yeah, oh, what's happening at Upton Park? It was like the elation of a screamer going in was just hit with the realisation that Manchester United, we could have just handed Manchester United the title. That I'd forgot about celebrating that goal. But there was another type of elation when you found out that United were only drawing. If that stayed the same, and Andy Miss couldn't have hit a cow's ass with a banjo that day. Even if he'd been on the pitch on his own, he wouldn't have put the ball in the net. So there was a different type of mechanism going on there. You know, you could get elated about something else, but the VAR just stops everything. And it's like a timeout. You just sat there waiting. And then by the time Martin Atkinson took, 6 minutes to say no goal or a goal, it's like, yay, or for fuck's sake. You know, it's took it out of it for me. It could actually stop me watching football, to be fair.
Yeah, it is. I don't want it. I don't want it. I mean, we had there would have been we had a goal against us in last minute against Cardiff on telly the other week away. So we're winning 1-0 away. They get a free kick and it's just outside box, and there's a bloke behind the wall doing star jumps in front of our goalkeeper, and fucking they take free kick and score because he's distracted by star jumps. And you know that would have been choked off by VAR, but I don't want that to be choked off by VAR. I want those times where people have got different opinions on what's happened. But now it's all we're talking about is fucking VAR, and I feel responsible, partly responsible, because I've started it by delivering the fucking the goal line technology to fucking Anfield, didn't I? So I started it off. So the goal line technology that was the beginning. Since Dinny's in the chat room, I just wonder how St. Pauli are doing at the moment, because they've got our old manager, Joss Lukai. I believe they've got our old manager. I just wondered how we were going on, whether they were doing any good. And of course, we've got Ade, who's from Scunthorpe, so obviously doesn't know anything about football. But I'll tell you an interesting thing about the internet and Scunthorpe, right? On Owls Talk, there's a forum called Owls Talk, and it's got this automatic filter in it. So if you put cunt in, it changed it to Cod Canyon. So whenever someone were mentioning Scunthorpe, it'd go Scod Canyon Thorpe. Hope. Yes, Cod Canyon Hope. And it was like that. Nobody could write Scunthorpe in it. So it's just a weird thing that I remembered from the St. Pauli are playing shite, draw after draw. Yeah, well, you got Joss there. No surprise there. Where did you piss off to anyway, Ade?
Well, you two were talking about football. Hang on, you're echoing back a bit. Hang on. You two were talking about football, and I thought nothing for me here, so I've made a cup of tea. But then I heard you talking about this VAR. Now, I don't know what it is, but I'm assuming it's some type of electronic thing that says, yes, the ball was across the line. Is that what it is?
No, it is, but it isn't. It's all kinds of things that there's. Like, we've had goals that have been chalked off because it's been pulled back for a free kick about 2 or 3 moves earlier. And that's what VAR is doing now. So people are scoring a good goal and then it's being stopped. And then they're going back to VAR and then they're sitting there and waiting to see what the decision is. Oh. So it's not just about that goal line technology. And I had to, like the player now, if any part of the player's body is in front, they're deemed as offside. And one Liverpool goal was chalked off because Robbie Firmino's armpit was offside. It's getting ridiculous. It's ruined a beautiful game for me.
No, I get that. I mean, the only thing I can liken it to is, you know, in ice hockey they've got the thing that says whether or not it's a goal, and that's kind of normally you would get a referee who would say yes it is or no it isn't with his gut feeling on the spot, and that would be the end of it. So you, like you either celebrate the goal or you're disappointed because the other team scored a goal.
But I'll take a mistake by a man making a decision every day of the week.
They've got this thing where I'm not even entirely sure what the exact rule is, but the bottom line is that the opposing team can actually say, no, we want you to use your screen to tell us, and you know that's what we're going for.
Yeah, they have a certain amount they can do. Yeah, and if they get it right, and
apparently they have to give up their timeout later on in the game.
Right.
So, but even that, as some of the and then as well as the referees, they've got people who used to be referees who aren't now referees, sitting watching the game, refereeing the referees who have got an electronic refereeing system.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit, you know, how come you can't get 22 blokes on a field or, you know, 12 men on an ice rink? And it's just mad, isn't it? It's mad.
It's just like everything, Ade. It's going bonkers. Listen, now you're back, Ade. I'm just going to go and top up my water thing. All right, won't be a sec, lads.
All right. Well, so that just leaves me and you, Ade, for just a couple of seconds. Oh, fucking hell. What the fuck? I try and click on one and it's another one that comes. Cardini wants to know what you smoke, what you vaping. He wants one, he says. Jesus, or devil's. Yeah.
It's a bud bomb.
It's a what?
It's called a bud bomb. You see that? Hang on a minute. Where are we?
Okay.
Focus. Nope.
Not really.
No.
But go on, it's like a.
Yeah, so you just kind of. Hang on a minute. And you put your material in there. And that's kind of it, really. That's what it is.
Well, that's brilliant. So that's Dinny. That's exactly what he's smoking at the moment. Listen, I wanted to tell you this. This just fucking made me fucking piss myself this morning. But when we went to this morning, yesterday morning. When did I go to fucking hospital? Yesterday morning. Yesterday morning.
Yeah.
My missus texted me down. I'm sure it was today. Anyway, it was today or yesterday. Anyway, we're sat in this fucking waiting room, and there's one of them. Danielle picks up a magazine, and this one of them things slips out. You know, one of them where them little catalogue things where they've got elasticated waistbands and.
Oh yeah.
Things on
Totes.
You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Them, you know, and them chinos and them nice jackets that old men wear and all
Zip
that.
up slippers.
It used to be called Dama. It used to be called Dama.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, and it has them pillbox things as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
On it. Yeah.
One of them that I've got. And right, honestly, I'd swear not, in one of the corners, they were a big fucking pink dildo. Honestly, I said, Danielle goes, what the fuck? I said, fucking hell, it was like one of them pink dildos that ends up like that. Oh, I can see.
So what you're saying is,
you know what I mean, don't you?
That identifies as a rabbit.
That because
Like a rampant rabbit.
It's a dildo that identifies as a rabbit.
It were amazing, honestly. A dildo, just a big pink dildo. It just fucking incredible.
You know, I walked into a conversation and all I've heard is pink dildo, and I don't know what else the conversation was about. You went on with your post at this point, were you?
No,
No,
I wanted to, Webby, I wanted to ask you about this. You know this Greta Thunberg or whatever her name is?
Mm-hmm.
You've noticed the same things I did, which is if somebody actually asked her a question and it's not scripted, she like takes her hat off or something, and somebody comes and takes her away.
She distracts it, yeah.
Yeah. And quite obviously to me, and probably to you, she is being very, very manipulated into being what she appears to be for the benefit of the people who want to push the agenda of climate change.
Yeah.
And the way I sort of look at that is, imagine if I'd have heard something in those days, it wouldn't have been on Facebook. It'd have been, imagine I'd have heard something when I was down the youth club. Like, isn't it a good idea if we had nuclear disarmament, right? Because I'd heard that at the youth club. I'd go home and say to my dad, Dad, I heard down the youth club that this nuclear disarmament thing's a good thing. My dad might have said, yeah, but is it a good thing? How do you know it's a good thing? Have you thought about why it might not be such a good thing? He'd have been the voice of reason, right?
Yeah.
Well, he should.
You think, but you think that you know something, so you can have a conversation. Then all of a sudden, the conversation stopped because all you had was a soundbite.
But what I'm saying is, what this Greta Thunberg thing's done is taken away that father figure. So because they're almost ridiculing what the father figure thinks. You're all taught wrong. It's not right. It's rubbish. It's rubbish. It's rubbish. You're the teenagers. It's for you to decide. After all, they're all going to be dead. And so that it's not me going home to say to my dad, yeah, but Dad, what do you think about this nuclear disarmament? It's all about, well, Dad, I don't care what you think, because all of your generation's wrong, because that's what they've all told me to believe. And it's like
Thunberg, she'll take me round back at bike sheds and let me put my hand up a jumper.
It's like that safety net of parent. As the system has somehow found a way of taking that out of the equation, so that Mum and Dad's opinion of anything now is, oh, we don't think that anymore. That's what we used to think. Now we think this. So we can't retrain your mum and dad. So just believe us. And
take it a bit further, Ed. If you look at all the entertainment stuff that you look at now, from comedies to films, and where you've got kids, and like there was a program, I think it might still be on, called Modern Family, where the parents and the adults are all portrayed as idiots, and the children are the ones that are switched on, saying, "Oh God, Dad, do you not know that this, and this, and this?" And it's like the children are completely disregarding the parents. They've turned against the parents.
Yeah,
I seem to have read that somewhere.
Yeah, and it's just it's like this information thing that kids have got in their hand. Not only it doesn't give them the ability to find information out anymore. What it now allows is for the information that the system wants them to think, know, or even consider, is put right before them. It's now completely the other way around. It's no longer just a thing of, oh, we're sharing things. No. Now the agenda is sharing with you what it wants you to think and say, and it's not sharing with you anything else that might even interfere with your thoughts on that.
Yeah, if you've not got the ability to critically think about things, then it doesn't matter what you've just held up there, Ed. It doesn't matter how much information you can see on that. You're going to take Snopes' point of view, or the Daily Mail's point of view, or the BBC's point of view. If you can't then compare that with something that, is completely what those type of people would consider not as trustworthy as the BBC, Like, I remember when the Syrian conflict was starting, the BBC were telling me that it was a civil war. Yet Vanessa Beeley and Eva Bartlett, who were actually there interviewing people, filming, the actual people cheering the Syrian army, you get to a bit of a balance. But everybody else is, that's civil war. It's not a civil war. Go and look at it. It's an invasion. We are arming, funding, and training people to go and invade. Well, why would we do that? Because they've not got a central bank and they've got lots of oil. What's that mean? Well, they want to put a central bank in, because then once they control that currency, the country's theirs. It doesn't matter who runs it. It doesn't matter who makes its laws. We've heard this so many times. There's nothing new under the sun, lads.
No.
This is all the same old shit. I mean, I purposely bang on about my stuff. You know it. We've all talked about it. But you can't get away from what it is. It's the money. It's the currency. It's what people think money is. That is the control mechanism. Mm-hmm. I go to work for pieces of paper. That means I work for nothing, because I only promise for everything. It's ridiculous that you think that you must work hard and pay for something when you can't pay for it, because it's all. I don't know how else to explain it. It's,
but when you try and explain that to people, they don't think, "Oh yes, don't I live in an insane world?" They look at you as if you're the one that's insane.
I'm the nutter, yeah. Well, do you know what? When you wake up in the lunatic asylum and you're the only one that's sane and everybody else is insane, you're gonna look nuts.
Yeah.
You know, what do you mean? It's the simplicity of the questions, though. Children can reduce adults to gibbering pieces of shit with just one question, because they're honest. They ask you bluntly. They can ask you questions, and you're either going to have to tell the truth or you're going to lie to that child. Either way, you know what you're doing at that point. These people have known what they've been doing, Ade. You know,
Webby, can I just? I think perhaps you've been a bit tough on people, because you say these people aren't able to critically think. I mean, there are a lot of people that can critically think, but then think to themselves, well, if I put those things into power, I'm going to be fucking causing myself a whole lot of fucking aggro. Causing myself a whole lot of aggro. I've got my mortgage, I've got my home, I've got my job, I've got my company car. You know, I'm doing quite well, okay, with these little. But he knows all that. But what his and you said that people say you're insane. That's not them. They're not telling you that you're insane. That's just the message that they've had put into the Reds every single fucking 2 minutes, that people are insane and people who think outside the box are insane. So, I think we have to give them a certain amount of leeway, because, there are different circumstances. Ade, what were you going to say, mate?
It's the emperor's new clothes.
I've just realised that Reds are in like a diagonal thing going down.
Noughts and crosses. Do I win or lose? Hang on a minute.
You're at bottom, Ade.
Oh, fuck.
We're like in a line down, 3 heads.
Are you getting
connect 3. I get what you're saying, Jason, but like I said, for 10 years I've been attacked over this, and people who can critically think understand it and don't call me names. Most of the people don't understand it. One guy on a local site who is an ex-copper trolls me every time I talk about it. And I said, have you read this? Do you understand anything about it? He said, no, I have no interest in reading it. I said, then how can you say that this is nonsense? You're saying this is nonsense. Something I know nothing about is nonsense. And you're telling me as an ex-copper, I'm meant to have respect for you when you chat shit like that. Those are the people, Jason, I can't give time to. Those are the ones that I used to want to grab by the ears and smash my head into them. Those are the ones that I've got to go. Webby, can I not pay my gas without having to go to court? Where's the catch? There isn't. The catch is that if you want to prove that and make your utility agent fulfill their obligation, you have no choice but to go to court and claim that your agent is not fulfilling their obligation. The district judge that I was before, I asked for summary judgment when British Gas failed to turn up. He said he couldn't give me summary judgment because there was nobody there to contest it. So I said, how do I get my remedy then? And he said, become claimant. So if you, I wrote to head office, I sent everything documented to the legal departments in the head office, touching on CCing the chief financial officer, the CEO. I've done everything, all completely out of court. These people just ignore the fact that you're bringing that to them because they can. They don't have to. They are pretending they're in a completely different jurisdiction. And until you bring the right jurisdiction to them, they don't have to. And the courts will allow that. So I get the questions, the valid questions, but no. If you want to make changes here, you're going to have to get your hands dirty. You can't just keep waiting for other people to do stuff. You know, it's at the end of the day, I can look my kid in the eyes and say, I did all I could. Might not have been much, but I did what I could and I knew what was going on. And, you know, I'll go to my maker with that.
Well, yeah, well, so you, as you've told us, you definitely stick to your guns. You want a man to stick to your guns, but you're also a man who is always willing to learn as well, aren't you, from other people? So there's, you know, you're not the sort of person that thinks that they know everything like me or Ade. You know,
what are you trying to say? Every day's a school day. Yeah, hey!
Every day school day. For 12 years, Jason, I've done conference talks, I've done radio shows, I've done podcasts, and I've said all along, if this is wrong, come and show me. But when I've got a legal clerk in a county court telling me that it's right, who's going to come and tell me I'm wrong? It's not about being clever. It's about reading it and understanding it. You reading it, understand it, it's the easy bit. But to then people say, well, how do you get away with it? It's not about getting away with it.
That's the thing, isn't it? That's the mentality that's in there.
Yes.
Same with the TV license. How do you get away with not paying that?
Because you're not liable for it. You know, it's like, why don't you pay my rent? Well, I'm not liable for it. Oh,
now we're getting
what a revelation.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Just
I want to tell you, I saw another one of the returned letters from the TV license the other day. And now, you know the bit on the bottom of my letter when it says, you know, any more harassment, 4,950 quid, take you to county court, blah, blah, blah. They now write on the bottom of their return letter, thank you for wishing to deregister. Please be aware we will not be accepting any invoices.
we say, and same to you.
You want, mate?
You should have said to him, and should have written back and said, the same to you.
Yeah.
I will not be accepting any invoices. So go on, fuck off, you fucking dicks.
Yeah.
Stop trying to fucking. Oh, you know, it's just everything's all manky and wanky, and you know all the shit you see on TV and stuff. I've got too much time in daytime. I see all these, you know, can't pay, take it away, and all that sort of shit. And it's just, I just, why would anybody want to watch that? You're watching someone else's misery. You're watching somebody else having to.
It's to train us, isn't it? Into when it happens to us, because it will. You know what? Because the system's designed to make it happen to us. And when it happens to you, this is what you've got to do, and this is how you're supposed to act. So that when it happens, it's just like a training program, literally a training program for the people who are watching it to learn how they're supposed to act when they eventually come knocking on your door, all dressed in black. That's what that program is.
What people miss with these programs, don't pay will take away for a start. If the High Court sheriff is coming to your door and breaking in and forcing entry, that means you've gone to court, accepted the debt, set up a payment plan, and then reneged on it. They've gone back to court and said they've set up this payment plan, they've reneged on it. Right, there's your warrant, now you can go and get goods. So you've agreed to everything before you get to that stage, whereas you need to challenge all that before you get to that stage. But most of us are those idiots. That's not a derogatory term. Most of us are idiots in law with that. When it came to Panorama doing the gas stuff, the utility stuff, they used 2 videos and I was privy to. I was on one of them.
Mine was one of them.
Say again, over.
Mine was one of them.
But what they were saying was they filmed drilling locks. Now that was Wes Ahmed's lock. They were titanium locks. They weren't getting in anywhere, but the camera cut to and fit in a pay-as-you-go meter in a completely different property on your side of the Pennines in Leeds. And then the voiceover was saying utility companies can apply for a warrant and fit pay-as-you-go meters. They told everything perfectly true. However, the jurisdictions are like that. Yes, they can apply for a warrant and force entry and fit pay-as-you-go meters, but that's commercial. For domestic, under the prepayment meter regulations, they need a signed agreement for that to happen. But they don't tell you all this. It's enough to make those non-critical thinkers of sound bites to go, oh, I'll just carry on paying. I'll just carry on paying. Well, what you're doing, you're just carrying on promising. So the national debt's going up. So they're now going to keep taking shit off you. So it's your fault. The answer to austerity and bringing the national debt down is stop paying your fucking bills. How else do you want to hear it? You can't pay it. Stop. But then again, you can't have a family who just goes, stop paying. But while you're paying, learn. Stop criticising everybody else.
Yeah, so that when the time comes and you're in that position, you're able to be able to act in good knowledge, decent knowledge. Yeah.
Yes, instead of then panicking and saying, "Will you do this? I'll pay you to do this." I've had people say, "I'll pay you to." No, I've got my own shit to deal with. Deal with your own shit. Grow up. We're all acting as adult children because that's what we've been taught. Work hard, pay your bills. That is why we're in the mess we're in. Because our parents, the people I trusted the most, taught me to work hard and pay my bills. And I've never wanted to work hard, and I've never wanted to work, but I've had to do what I've had to do to get anywhere within this system. But to know that my mum did 13 hours a day in her own business, my dad did 6 nights a week, long distance lorry driving, 1 night off, 6 on. They worked like that. They never saw each other. I never saw them. And all that was because these bastards were stealing everything. My mum was a really good businesswoman, and she hadn't got a clue about the economy and money. And that devastated me. And if that doesn't upset people enough to want to at least go and learn something, turn Love Island off or do something, then, you know, it is what it is. But I certainly aren't. I said a long time ago, I will sit, and I have done. I've sat for hours and hours talking through this stuff until they get the light bulb moment. But I won't do anything for anyone. Nobody did it for me. I had to do it because if you don't do it, you won't learn it. It's that simple, lads.
I had a chap who looks after my mum's mobility scooter. Really nice bloke, and his wife's not been well, and I know his daughter moved away, but then sort of came back nearer to live, and she's got all these financial problems, and I don't know why, but we ended up talking about this sort of stuff, and this is when he was dealing with my mum's scooter, and I just dropped in a few words, and something snapped with him, and he went, "What do you mean?" And once I started to explain to him, and he's, "What?" And you can see the cogs going around, and I just said to him, "If I lend you my lawnmower and my mate Jason comes to your house to fetch it, what are you going to tell him?" "I won't tell him to piss off. It's nothing to do with him." I said, So why is that any different to somebody who knocks at your door and claims that you've got a debt, even though you don't even know the bloke? And the cogs went, and all of us here just bing, light bulb, ding. And what I admire most about Dave is every single time I've sent, like he's been using the 3 letters and stuff and learning all that stuff. And at each stage, he's asked another question, so I've given him another chunk of places to go to get the answers. And each time he's gone and done that and learned and done and sent stuff off, and then the next thing's come back. And I tell you what, now he's there telling other people. And when he first asked me how to do things, I just said to him, I'll help you how to do it, but I'm not doing it for you. Because what I want you to do is learn so that you can show somebody else. Because then there's 1, 2, 3 of us that will know, not just one.
Yeah. Well,
he's been brilliant. I think his daughter's now quite switched on as well.
That's how I learn. I think, do they call it a kinesthetic learner, where it's hands-on? I could read it and I can get an understanding, but when you actually physically get the instruments and you're trying to understand how to endorse it, I mean, how I endorsed it, that is well up for debate, because nobody's completed it. Nobody's actually got this through, or if they had, they're well under the radar. There's people who've been trying to divert people with the bills of exchange, trying to take them into private jurisdictions and all this caper. The simplicity of it is how it's meant to work, how the instrument is meant to work. All these negotiable instruments are very specific. A gyro check with a trans cash and a commercial bank logo already has value that needs releasing with your endorsement. That's how it works. Your agent sends you that bill with that check because they can't do anything with your account. You have to authorize it. So whatever way they'll accept it, the only thing that they could ever say I did wrong was a procedural error, where they, as my agent, are meant to say, well, no, you're meant to do this. But they are not going to let this cat out the bag. When I took British Gas, they made a £2.3 billion profit that year. The CEO gave himself a 44% pay rise. Where is that coming from? It's coming from revenue collection from us that they're not meant to get. It is being stored up into an abandoned funds account, all our equity, just like lost property at a train station. At a certain point, people can make a claim. And that's when people start getting those nice little backhanders. And now you've got these utility companies that are coming down to things like, you've seen all these extra utility companies popping up everywhere. And what they're basically saying is, we won't steal as much of your equity as British Gas will. That's all they're doing. You're not paying them less, but you're promising them less. You're promising them less, and they're stealing less equity.
So then you've got less to promise.
Yes. Until you've got no promises, and then what you're left with. Because you need to go and promise for food. That's your equity. That's your sweat. You need to go and get food. That's what the bills of exchange were brought in for, because if you're too busy paying for bills, well, guess what? You're not going to participate in the economy. You're not going to feed yourself, so you're not going to be able to go and work within that economy. And you're certainly not going to you're not going to go into these people's shops and buy their products. So these big companies are going to have all these products to sell that you're not going to be able to exchange anything for.
Yeah.
All it needs is a bit of thinking about this. At the end of the day, Jason, we all work in a utopian society without utopia. We all work for nothing, and we get what we get. But we could have everything. But we have
nothing because we put ultimate power in the hands of people that have not got the best interests of other people at heart, and they're only bothered about feathering their own nest. And how we got to that, it's pretty easy to work out, isn't it? How we got into that situation. Money does, power corrupts. Yes. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. It's fucking time immemorial. That's been the rules about it.
Can I just interject with something that is related, but not on such a. I found this quite entertaining. This is a letter to me, and I'm just going to cover me a bit of a dress up. 6th of November, where are we? 6th of November this year. It's from EDF. Okay. Your switch to your new energy supplier is now complete. We're just working with them to agree your gas meter readings. We're sorry it's taking a while to sort out your final bill. Blah, blah, blah. I left EDF on the 4th of October, 2017.
Okay.
So 2 years after, I rang EDF and they said, right,
sorry, Newbean's asking what EDF is. Can you just clarify that for Newbean?
oh, sorry, EDF is an energy company. Where are we?
Yeah.
Often advertised on telly and stuff, yeah. But they are the most annoying twats ever. I just couldn't fucking wait to get them off my case. Anyway, I spoke to somebody in their department, and this is how much we disagreed. You're going to love this. They said, I'm sorry, you'll have to ring your current supplier because we can't give you any information because of the Data Protection Act. So I rang my new supplier and they said, oh, yeah. They sent a letter saying they didn't agree with the final gas rate. I went, that's 2 years ago. And they said, yeah, we just sent it back saying it's more than 12 months off your rock. I said, what are they saying the gas meter reading was? She said 16669. I said, and what did we say it was? She says 16669. So after 2 years, EDF have tried to go to the different energy supplier and say, we disagree with the amount of gas that we should be charging him for by absolutely nothing. So when people think that they're competent, trust me, they're not.
Well, I don't get bills anymore. They don't bill me, even though they just sent me a gas summary for the year. Apparently, I've used 0.00 kilowatts and I owe them 0.00. But they send a bill to a previous tenant from 8 years ago. So it's like I don't exist. I don't exist because that's where they decided to leave me. You know, unless I go to court and sue them to fulfill their obligations, they're not going to do anything. Or at least now. I mean, I've got the bundle set ready to go. But, you know, sleeping dogs, all that. It's you pick and choose your fights in this. The guy who I'm going to have on who's been having trouble here, he first broke his duck with like many people did, listening to what John Harris had to say. But John Harris's last interview said that he lost everything because he took everything on. You pick your fights. I'd have been dead, Ade, if I'd have tried to take everything on like everybody wanted me to, criticising me because I was doing one thing but not the other. You know, from a keyboard, that's where I was getting all the criticism from. I walk the walk. I know what I've done. I've got the fucking scars mentally and physically to prove what I've done. I've got nothing to prove to any bastard. So for people to just come on and criticise without going researching is one thing. There's a couple of questions in the chat room. I've lost them now.
Can you remember what they were? Who were they from?
I'm just going back now. I was laughing at Jesus Jones because he said EDF is Tommy Robinson, question mark.
All right.
Yes, sorry, now I see the the Freudian slip.
Yeah.
But it really is a company. Hang on a minute, where are we? There you go. See that?
Yeah, EDF. Yeah, they've already said it's a French an energy company. Mahatma was asking whether I signed with a conditional signature, so my signature can't be sold on as a negotiable instrument. If not, why? When you sign these instruments, it's not.
Webby, where have you gone?
Oh, I'm here. Sorry, I was just leaning to one side. It's people make this all too complicated. You're talking about things that what you worry. Why should I worry about that when I've not even got the factor that where they're acknowledging that I'm signing the correct instrument? We could talk about where I signed it. Did I sign the check? It makes more sense to sign the check and date it. That's what you normally do. But because I don't know what they are doing with this check and I explain this, could you explain how to do this? I put a sticker on it saying what I was doing, transferring equity, all this kind of stuff. It didn't matter how I explained it. It didn't matter whether I was doing conditional or unconditional. These people weren't going to accept it. Until I get them into a court and then I can start questioning them, that's how we find the answers. I'd love somebody to come here and show me exactly how to do it. But I've spoken to people who are working in commercial banking. I had a lad, obviously where I work, I had a lad who was in, and this lad was under tax fraud. Hey. He was in for tax fraud, and he was in commercial banking. And it was when I was talking to him, he says, "Yeah, everybody does it. We all do the tax fraud." He said, "The trouble is, my group fucked up, and the big boys above us didn't get paid, so they cut the rope and they let us all go." I said, "So you worked in commercial banking? Do you know what negotiable instruments are?" He says, "Yeah." I said, "Well, attached to my gas bill is a negotiable instrument. And it's a negotiable instrument of value. It's called a joint giro credit check. It's got the transcash, it's got the bank. I endorse that, send it back to my agent, they set my debt off. That should be my gas bill sorted." And he looked at me, Ade, and he went, "Fuck me, Webby, you're going to have to give me a bit of time to think about that." He says, "Because that makes too much sense." He gave me a phone number for a guy. This guy runs a firm called The Legal Company, which is an online law firm. And I spoke to this guy, and he was all very polite until I started to tell him what I was talking about. And then he started to shout at me. And then every time he shouted at me, he told me he wasn't shouting at me, and he wasn't being impolite. I said, "You are being impolite. You're being quite rude." I said, "But your actions and you telling me that you've already tried this and it doesn't work, and the fact that you're shouting at me shows that it does to me." So it's all about going and trying and finding out. Many people have done bits of this. My videos are there. I'll talk to people and tell them what I've done. I won't say that this is how you do it. This is what I did. This is where I'm up to. This is what I know. Somebody else go and pick that up and go and do something with it. It's time to stop asking questions about what am I doing? What am I going to do? How do I do this? I'll talk to you, but go and learn it, and then you go and do something. Go and question, keep paying. Write to them, question, see what you can get back. Freedom of information. There's always you can learn these things, but people just don't seem to want to because of that fear thing, and it's about chugging along. We've all got, those bills to pay. You've got your families, you've got your car, and you work for nothing, and you own nothing. You give everything away. You're taught that. Where do you draw the line, Ade? Because you're going to go and vote for somebody who's going to either steal less or just steal something different. You're not going to learn anything. You're not getting anywhere. It's just round and round we go.
So what you're saying is we should just all be anarchists?
I think you're going to get the anarchist thing because they want to create the chaos. And I think the very top of the tree, for want of a better way of putting it, the superpowers that all work together are all fighting for control of that chaos that you talk about. Because out of that chaos, they all want to offer their own solutions.
It's
So Super Leeds wants to see Watson. Watson. No, you can't. He's laid out in his little room, and he's completely knackered and asleep. And he's got his We always call him Chinky Eyes, you know, because his eyes go funny. You know when he's knackered, you can see it in his eyes. Also, Leeds asked as well, has Webby got a new dog or Tourette's?
No, it's my fucking cat. She's playing with something. She's playing with something right under the fucking chair.
Has he got Tourette's?
Oh, there you go.
That's her.
He's got himself a cat. Nice one. What's its name?
Monkey.
Monkey. Have you decided what sex it is yet, or are you letting it decide itself?
She's decided herself, but seeing as she's had kittens, I'm going to go with she's a female cat. Yeah, a friend of mine, she's a rescue. Been through a tough time by all accounts, but she turned up with her about 6 or 7 months ago, and she's made herself well at home now. Fuck off.
Yeah, really, Ken. Fuck off.
Webby, certainly not a female in your life that makes you want to swear. Certainly not.
Oh,
put it this way, it's the only pussy I tell to fuck off.
It's nice to have a little bit of companionship though and all, isn't it? You know, like when I'm on my own all day, you know, and I've got dog fucking, I'm trying to, every time he moves, I'm fucking moving my foot out of the way, because if he touches it, it's just agony. You know, and, it's fucking...
You haven't got a bad leg, have you, Jason?
I have, I won't have soon though, but that means I'll probably only be able to count to 10, so...
Yeah, but you will get to choose how tall you want to be.
Well, that's true, yeah. I can say, can I be... you know what, I might just get some really short ones and just be a real sized dwarf. You know what I mean? A normal proportioned dwarf, just with short legs. Do you think do you know that? Do you think there's a lot of work going on for dwarfs?
R2D1 and a bit.
R2D2, Kenny Baker.
Yeah.
And him, that, what's his face? What's his Warwick Davis?
Warwick Cunt.
He was in Star Wars, weren't he? But that cunt, they fucking put him on telly, didn't they? Gervais, and that's because Gervais and his mate, they decided who was funny and who was not. And I don't get Carl Pilkington.
He's a dick.
No, Carl. That idiot abroad stuff, Carl Pilkington.
It's fantastic.
Really?
Yeah.
Bores me to tears, mate.
But you know when he says,
tears, Carl Pilkington.
Hang on, 7 Wonders of the World. I'll tell you if it's any good. I ain't even seen it yet.
Mate, can you imagine me talking to Carl Pilkington about bills of exchange? Oh, hey, that's a nice one. Is that an offer? Is that an offer, that, Jason?
I think she wants me to get into the midget porn scene. I'll be number 1 on the German midget porn charts in no time at all.
I'm sure Dinny will have shares in that.
I've seen many more, even more alarming things than that in Thailand.
I bet you have.
He has and all.
I bet you've paid for many more alarming things.
Absolutely not. Much. Well, you know,
impersonators.
Anyway,
I'm trying to find out where this computer is running so slow. Is that when I click on it, right? So I click to show a fucking thing up on screens, a comment, and it's so slow that it takes me time. It takes time for it to work. So by the time the click is registered, the fucking chat room's moved up a load more, and it's a different thing that pops up. That's what's fucking doing me head in. I need a new fucking laptop, obviously. This fucking try and get this piece of shit fucking sorted out, and then
just get a cheap Chromebook and just run it off that.
I might do. Yeah, well, I will do. I'll do something anyway.
£120 for a cheap Chromebook.
Right. Well, we've got about 5 minutes left. What we're finishing up with.
Well, if I can just touch on, what I was meant to talk about a while back was the lad who I'm going to get
But listen, you've got plenty of time, mate. If you want to, you know, expand on something, you want to get into something and expand on it, you've got plenty of time. I don't know about Abe, but I'm able to stop around and anyway.
Well, I'll summarise it as small as I can. The lad that lives local, as I've said before, where I live now, if somebody had told me 30 years ago that where I live would be starting to get referred to as Little Romania, people would have laughed, you know. And obviously, when you start looking at other areas, particularly down south, where you see the Kalergi plan and all that, the targeted demographics is going on everywhere. I've been waiting and waiting for it to start happening in my town, and this lad had locals who'd moved in, Romanians who'd moved in, and they didn't have a pot to piss in, lads, you know, and the kids had no shoes on their feet, and they were playing on the front, and the family was, you know, this lad was going to shopping and coming back with food from 40 quid's worth of shopping, shoes on the kids' feet, so all this kind of stuff. But as other people were coming in, they started to mix with smackheads who were already in the town, and they seemed to think like, well, it's okay to behave like smackheads, so they started to deal on the corner. Before long, there's people pulling up on the street, a local college that's all boarded up. These guys were taking people in with keys. They were going into the college. They were coming out with girls who were like all dolled up to the nines, going out prostituting them. The residents some of the residents started to film this. The police raided it, kicked I don't know how many people they kicked out, but 28 tons of rubbish they removed from this building. Rats were falling over themselves coming out of this building, and because of this, they put a stop to the dealing. This lad was then targeted, and 30 of them turned up at his door with knives, trying to smash the door in. The police are called. There's more than this lad who I'm going to interview get arrested, but he gets a restraining order put on him. He can't go back and live where he lives with his wife. He has to stay somewhere else. Now the police are looking to prosecute him and not the others because they were given bail and they've gone to Romania, so-called to get visa stuff. What's happening? Even the court judge said these mustn't leave, but they've gone. And the police would not put a warrant out for these people. The judge had to put the warrant out because the police and the council don't want anything to do with it.
Oh, cat's gone awry. Listen, I just wanted to mention something in chat room. Tony he says in there, I'm stoned. Don't listen to me for God's sake. I'm a car crash in progress. He's been. I just wanted to say that, you know, if you Tony, you've got help here. If you want it, just drop us a line or do whatever you want to do. And so just don't fucking get down about shit that's just fucking not even worth it. I don't know what shit you're getting down about. I'm just really fucking worth it, but I don't know. Yeah, go on.
For anybody who's feeling shit, listen. The song "Wear Sunscreen." If you feel shit, well, just go and listen to Baz Luhrmann, "Wear Sunscreen."
Okay.
Sort all your troubles out in your head.
Awesome. Yeah, well, that's certainly what I'll do. I'll go and get some sunscreen.
Wear sunscreen.
Sunscreen, cream, scream.
Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 99. That one.
Yeah, so Tony says, I'm as happy as a dude with cancer. Oh, wait, yeah. Well, listen, Tony, we know... I can empathise with you because I'm just in pain constantly, all day, every day. And I don't know how many legs I'm going to have next week. So, listen, mate, you hold your sen up, brother, and keep listening to us if you can when we come back. But anything else you want to discuss Webby, Ade, anybody? Do you have anything you want to discuss?
No, like I said, I'm looking forward to try and help this fella to get his word out. And there's a couple of independent MPs who are interested in his case. And
Did you send me this guy?
I've asked you whether you'll have him on the show when you come back on, because I just want him to get this information out, because when this is happening to local people, and you know, the locals even turned on him because they blamed him for those coming and living there, even though he was only trying to help them after they'd moved in. The locals have blamed him for that, and the police have now taken witness statements, and they've gone and contacted him and said, well, look, I'm helping. No, they're against me. So they've gone back to try and change the statements, and the police said, no, you can't change them because that would be wasting police time. So they're being threatened by trying to change the statements now. And, you know, we've seen this happen so much. It's just going to get worse. It's almost like, I mean, if I didn't know any better, it would be almost like the establishment is trying to race bait people. That's what it seems like. Because these people are salt of the earth, they'll help anybody. But the establishment's turning on the people who are trying to do the right thing. And then when you're actually pointing out the right things, that you're attacked. It's what Ade said a couple of hours ago. It's the upside down world. Everything is inverted. Everything is inverted.
Completely inverted, yeah. It is inverted. Inverted and perverted.
Not just in Thailand.
We had not just in Thailand, no. During the war.
Do you know, I've been speaking to my mate at about lunchtime. So what's that over there? Seven in the evening over there. He's just picked his gorgeous wife up, who's Russian, from a half day of work. And then they were going to go out for a really nice meal. And he's been out on his boat this afternoon with his mates and had a couple of beers on the boat. And I thought to myself, yeah, and I've got to go back to work tomorrow.
Yeah, well, you've had a little taste, and now you want more, don't you? You've dipped your foot in, dipped your toe in, and now you're wanting to dip a little bit more in.
I don't want to know what he's dipped in, mate.
I actually know, serious. I seriously had a text today. Hang on a minute. I don't even know.
My God.
Hang on.
Hang on. Will you get a strike for this text, Jason?
Oh, here we go. Oh, you go. This is from Sheffield.gummed@nhs.net.
All right, yeah.
Gummed?
Yeah, gum. Genitourinary medicine, otherwise known as the Clap Clinic.
All right, okay.
Okay. See, I am a responsible adult. It says, you're not going to be able to read that.
No, we can't read that, mate. You know,
your recent test results are all clear.
Right, so it's an all clear then, Ade.
Yeah.
You've got an all clear. You could take the. Can you imagine that?
Drinking too, free.
It probably happens, you know. The people go, oh, by the way, have you got your Clap Clinic records on you? Are they up to date? And someone will get the phone out. There you go. Yes. Here you go. There you go. It's up to date. And then she goes, game on.
Well,
aren't you going to want to see mine? And the bloke goes, it's essentially always goes no.
If Oprah Winfrey can promote, yes, I've had an abortion, like all these other people are doing, why can't Ade say, yes, I'm clap free?
Well, I am. I've just told. Do you know, honestly, from being about 16, if ever I've not been in a steady relationship, because I didn't cheat, never cheated, but if you go, if I've never not been in a steady relationship, I've always, every 6 months, gone and got tested because it's free and it's easy. You pee in a jug and they give you you give them a bit of blood and that's it. So it's no biggie. There's no sort of ramrodding and trying to recharge your bell end for you or anything like that anymore.
You don't get umbrella treatment anymore then?
No. Well, I think if you had symptoms, you might. I don't know. But no, and I've just thought it's, quite a responsible and adult thing to do once every 6 months if you're not in a steady relationship, because you never know.
You never know, do you? You never know a moment where...
It is actually official. I have actually got proof that I am currently clap-free. And actually, I have been for 53 years. I've never had anything, but anyway.
Well, we find that rather difficult to believe, but you must have had crabs. We've all had crabs, man.
What stays in... No, we've not. Not all of us. No, we've not.
No, we've not, mate. You probably in your beard as well. They'll have been in your beard as well, won't they? Like picking them out of your beard.
Cystitis is the worst I've ever had, man. Cystitis, that's it. So we've not all had that, you Sheffield lot. I don't care what you say.
I've never had anything.
What stays in Thailand?
When I was 17, I got crabs. But then again, I would have one of them like blue coats on a fucking holiday camp, which I shouldn't have been on because I weren't old enough, but I was blue coat on there. So everything that ever fucking showed any interest, and believe me, there were plenty, I had to go at. So I caught crabs a couple of times, but I dealt the first time with them with petrol. So I poured petrol on all my pubes, and then I shaved my pubes off. And they were still sort of embedded under the skin, so I had to pick them out. So one or two. So that's
weird, you Sheffield lads.
Well, you see, I was down in fucking sunny Cornwall. It was lovely down there. I were in a forest, so you could do all sorts of stuff in there. But it was a little bit scary at night time.
Shagger barber's floor, you lot.
Sorry?
You shagger barber's floor.
Probably would, yeah. Well, lady would.
Oh my God.
Oh dear. Anyway, right. Well, I think we've done, haven't we? We've completely worked a sense out for tonight, at least. Anyway, so big thanks to everyone for listening.
Good show, lads. Good
show, yeah. Thanks to you, Webby, for coming on as well. If we should make it a regular thing, we'll have a little.
Well, we won't don't leave it as long next time. Been about 8 months.
No, I won't leave it as long next time.
Been about 8 months since like I said, it was trying to get that stream sorted. And once with a few clicks, especially once I'd used Chrome, then the camera and the mic works. It seems really straightforward now, so I can get myself up and running as and when. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've had a nice rest. Got a few bits of paperwork to get done. I'm looking to try and get some time off to do that. And other than that, it's all go. Everything's going forward. I'm just waiting for Jesus to come back and save us all now.
Well, aren't we all? But I'm afraid I'm a little bit busy. I've got a podcast to do on a Tuesday night.
I've contacted his dad. I'm waiting for his email.
His fella don't know where he is. Anyway, listen.
Hanging 10 on the Sea of Galilee last I heard.
Yeah, well, you've lost me now. Sea of Galilee. I know that's some Bible thing, but I don't know what Bible thing. Well, listen. The Good Luck Week Webster report. I hope you get some good stuff out, and you manage to get this all sorted out. Be able to do all this. It's as easy as fucking piss. Like we did yesterday.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a crack at it anyway, boys. But I appreciate it. I've enjoyed the chat. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. It's been too long, like you said. But the water under the bridge and all done and dusted, and
definitely, mate.
Yeah. It's just go, innit? Ade, do you have a final word for you, mate?
No, just it's a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Well, thank you to Paul Webster, our guest tonight. Thanks to Ade, my co-host. And thanks to all of you for listening in the chat room. And I've been trying to follow the chat room, but it's just been going past so quick. And I know that's an Andy thing, the thing that Andy would say, but it genuinely has. It's been going up and up and up and up. So it's been difficult to keep in contact.
Can you not click on that little cog?
Yeah, I probably should do that, shouldn't I? On that note, we will say good night. I'll see you. I'm in the hospital next week. Give me, probably in a week, 10 days, so a couple of weeks' time, we might be back on. But you'll be maybe you'll have some stuff for you in the meantime. So
brother, you're in my prayers.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone for tonight. We'll see you later. Ta-ra, a bit.
See you later.